Judas approaches Jesus, enduring the glance of his eyes, which have become the flashing eyes of his best days. And he, Judas, does not lower his face either. On the contrary, he approaches the Master with the smile of a hyena and kisses his right cheek. My friend, what have you come for? Are you betraying me with a kiss? Judas bends his head for a moment, then raises it, insensible to reproach, as to every invitation to repent. Jesus, after the first words uttered with the majesty of a master, speaks in the sorrowful tone of one who resigns oneself to a misfortune. The guards, shouting, come forward with ropes and clubs and try to get hold not only of Christ, but also of the apostles, with the exception of Judas Iscariot, of course. Who are you looking for? Asks Jesus calmly and solemnly. Jesus the Nazarene. I am he. His voice thunderous. Before the murderous world and the innocent one, before nature and the stars, Jesus bears this clear, loyal, certain witness to himself. I should say that he is happy to be able to bear it. But if he had thrown a thunderbolt, he could not have done more. They all fall to the ground like mown sheaves of corn. No one remains standing except Judas, Jesus, and the apostles, who take fresh heart again at the sight of the overthrown soldiers, so much so that they approach Jesus, threatening Judas so explicitly that the latter makes a leap just in time to avoid a masterly stroke of Simon's sword. In vain pursued by the stones and sticks thrown at him by the apostles, not armed with swords, he escapes beyond the Kidron and disappears in a dark lane. Stand up. Who are you looking for? I ask you once again. Jesus the Nazarene. I've told you that I'm he, says Jesus kindly. Yes, kindly. So let these others go. I will come. Put away swords and clubs. I'm not a brigand. I've always been among you. Why did you not arrest me then? But this is Satan's hour, and yours. But while he is speaking, Peter approaches the man who is holding out the ropes to tie Jesus and gives a clumsy blow with his sword. If he had struck him with the point, he would have slaughtered him like a ram. Whereas all he does is to cut off part of his ear that remains hanging down, shedding much blood. The man shouts that he is dead. There is chaos because some want to come forward, while some are afraid, seeing swords and daggers shine. Put those weapons away. I order you to do that. If I wanted, I could have the angels of my Father to defend me. And you, be cured. In your soul, first of all, if you can. And before stretching out his hands to be roped, he touches the ear and cures it. The apostles shout very unbecomingly. Yes, I'm sorry to have to say so, but it is the truth. Some say one thing, some another. Some shout, "You've betrayed us." And some, "He is mad." And some say, "And who can believe you?" And those who do not shout run away, and Jesus is left all alone, he and the guards, and his way begins. So we see there that when St. John tells us that Jesus' mere saying of "I am" causes them to fall, the guards that is. But it is Maria Valtorta's vision that sees that the apostles, as one might imagine, see there an opportunity. The guards are struck down, paralysed. Now they can actually get Jesus away or defeat these guards. But of course, Jesus scotches that plan. And Maria Valtorta doesn't say, by the way, that the man whose ear is cut off is Malchus. It is, I think, St. John who tells us that. I can be corrected if I'm wrong. But we have that very sad point at the end, which perhaps the evangelists didn't want to tell us out of embarrassment. And we're told actually that that the apostles didn't tell us that Judas, how bad Judas was, because it was embarrassing. It's only in St. John that he's called a thief. But the early Christians were not to be scandalized by what the Jews could do to that extent, even an apostle. And so the apostles, the evangelists, Matthew, Mark and Luke, glossed over Judas, the extent of Judas's crime. But St. John only hints at it, and we get much more in the gospel as revealed to me. But here, just as you get the sense, as you hear that the apostles are saying terrible things to Jesus, they're accusing him, questioning him as being who he really has said he is. We don't get the names of them. But that's not in any of the Gospels. And one can see at work a human instinct. This can't be written. This is too embarrassing. This is terrible. We stooped to the depths here. And though one can say we were stupid, we were slow to understand, we were cowardly, we can show we were cowardly because we can show we ran away, but to repeat the things we said at the moment of Jesus' arrest is just too difficult. And even Maria Valtorta doesn't say everything that they said at that traumatic time. But we get a flavour of it, and it wasn't very nice. When you read Maria Valtorta's visions of Jesus resurrected and appearing to the apostles, and how frightened of him they are, and how embarrassed and ashamed they are, one can understand by reading this. Not just them running away, that's something as well, but this particularly, the way they behaved before they ran away from the Garden of Gethsemane. Food for thought.